This is the briefing for Tuesday, April 5th. In last night's briefing, I covered the fact that the market was testing an upper extreme of an area of rotation in multiple time frames, and you can see that here. One time frame, this is another time frame here, and a third time frame there. And that the internals were suggesting that it is not strong enough, or it was not strong enough, to break through and break out into vertical development to the upside. And you can see that pretty clearly with market breadth just continuing to decline right up until today's sell-off. And then this was net volume. Net volume is up volume minus down volume, and this is for the NYSE. So you can see that that was declining as well, suggesting that the internal development or internal strength of the market was deteriorating pretty significantly, which suggested a higher probability that we were going to see some type of rotation back down. And that's exactly what we got in today's trading. I also pointed out, and I think it was in the weekend briefing, that, and those of you who have listened to this briefing in the past know that a pretty good percentage of the time, if the Russell turns down and the child transports turn down at the same time, even though the other indices are trending higher, it usually suggests that there's going to be a downward move in the other indices that will catch up with the transports and with the Russell. Now, the Russell turned down pretty significantly earlier, and you can see that here. The Russell's turned down from this high going back to last week. The other indices were still trending higher. This is the spiders here, and you can see that trend that was moving higher. Now the transports. Now this is the industrials are here, and the transports are here, and this is real-time information for the industrials. I don't get intraday information for the transports. I only get end-of-day information for the transport, mainly because I don't trade them, and it hasn't updated since it's just after 4 o'clock Eastern time. But they were down almost 450 points in today's trading. That's going to put the transports right down in this area right here, right around the 15,000 level. That is pretty significant decline, because now it's back into this area of rotation, looking for the next level of support at the 14.4 level right through here. So the transports and the Russell signaling that there was going to be a decline, the internals of the market signaling there was going to be a decline, and price development just kept moving higher. Now, there's always a possibility, a small probability, I should say, that the internals will strengthen to support price. That typically is around a news event. And there certainly was not any good news event that gave the market the gas it needed to move higher and break out into vertical development. Pretty significant area of rotation. I mean, if you look all the way back to January, the market really has not gone anywhere. So the real question now is, if it was unable to break out of this range here at this upper extreme, right around the 455, 460 level, then the next area of rotation is going to be coming back down to about the 445 area before it gets to the next level of support. Then below that is going to be 415. So going all the way back to the February, I think this is the February 24th, I think that was the 24th, that we got that last low. That was, yes, February 24th. The question is going to be, are we going to take that low out? And as you know from previous briefings, I have not been a bull on this market, even through this rally. I've really felt that the internals were not strengthening, even though price development was moving higher. It was purely a speculative move, and that we had to anticipate some type of move back to the downside. And once again, when I look at the strategy of the markets, I look at what is the higher probability of one event occurring over another, keeping in mind there's no 100% probabilities. So that means if I feel there's a 70% chance we're going to see a rotation back to the downside in some form or fashion, there's always a 30% chance that I'm wrong and something's going to happen. The market may give me different information in the next trading day that would suggest that that is not the case, and we're going to see a move or a breakout to the upside. But right now, the probabilities are such that we're probably going to see some type of rotation back to the downside. But we have to watch these near-term levels of support because we very easily could rotate up to the upper extreme, down to the lower extreme, back up to the upper extreme, and then back down to the lower extreme once again. And then we could see a continuation of rotation in this range here. So it's going to be important to see what happens as we approach these near-term lower levels of support. Same thing in the NASDAQ. NASDAQ testing the upper extreme twice, or actually should say a couple times here. And then, of course, rotating back down. Next level of support comes in right around the 350 level. And the Russell now testing this 202 level, which is its near-term support. So it's going to be interesting to see if the Russell breaks through that level in tomorrow's trading. I want to kind of give you a quick picture of the shorter term development of the market. Now, I didn't mark these levels on the longer term charts, but this level is really short term, and you can see that the spiders came right down and bounced right off of this. This is about the 449 level in the spiders. So that is the near term support. And you can see pretty clearly, this is the same thing in the Russell. And so you can see that it came right down to this level, which is similar to this level and this level, and paused. And that's typical when market reaches support or resistance, as traders step back to determine whether there's enough gas in the tank to continue driving the price in the direction of the trend. And that's a typical pause there. And this could be the same thing with the spiders pausing or bouncing right off of this 449, 450 level. The NASDAQ coming down right pretty close to the 358 level. That's the next short-term support. And then, of course, the longer-term support levels that I've already outlined, 445 in the spiders and about the 350 to 351 level in the Qs. And then the Russell has already broken through the 205 level and testing and then trading back up above the 203 level. So the Russell really is suggesting that it wants to go further lower, and the transports appear to be telling us that also. Now, the only condition, or I should say that not condition but qualification, is we reached a point of being extremely oversold in today's trading. So while that does not preclude the market from continuing to move in the direction of the trend that was established in today's trading, it does suggest that there is a higher probability we may see some type of pause or some type of rotation back up, especially since we've reached short-term support levels. So it would not surprise me to see some type of pause in tomorrow's trading, or we could see lower prices and then a pause. And I should point out tonight also, if that happens, because we're at a point of being extremely oversold, watch what happens with breadth. You can see breadth got to a pretty good negative amount, over 2,000 shares negative in today's trading. And I always look for this when I see a market that's overbought or oversold, is for a lower price at the open and then stronger breadth, which does suggest that the market is strengthening, at least short term, and you're going to see some type of rotation back to the upside. So watch what happens here. NASDAQ breadth was 2,300 shares negative. NYSE breadth was about over 2,000 shares negative. So we could see lower price. If you do see a divergence in breadth, if it's stronger than at today's low, that's going to give you a pretty good indication of some type of rotation up. Now, if we do see lower prices and breadth is at least this week or weaker, we could see the beginning of an impulsive move to the downside, and that could be something significant. So keep in mind, spiders at support, short-term support, NASDAQ Qs pretty close to it, not quite there yet. The Russell broken through short-term support, but at longer-term support and pausing right there as well. So what happens tomorrow is going to be very important. Have a great night, and I'll pick this back up in after tomorrow's trading.